I had married believing in family, loyalty, and respect. I thought love was enough. That dedication and shared struggles would keep us together. I was wrong. It started subtly. Her constant comparisons, the way she dismissed my opinions, the jokes she made about my accomplishments in front of friends and family. I brushed them off at first, thinking I was overreacting, telling myself that marriage isn't about who's first or second, it's about being together. The breaking point came during a dinner with her family, a casual Sunday meal, or so I thought. Conversation flowed, laughter filled the room, but then she looked at me across the table, smiled sweetly at everyone else, and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You know, he's second place. Always has been." The words hit me like a punch. I froze. The room went silent for a moment, her family awkwardly exchanging glances. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, to scream, but something inside me snapped in a different way. I didn't respond. I didn't flinch. I simply nodded, smiled faintly, and continued eating. Inside, I felt the slow burn of humiliation, betrayal, and disbelief. The woman I loved, the mother of my stepchildren, had just publicly reduced me to a joke. I realized then that her respect, her loyalty, and even her love had never truly been mine. Years passed. I stayed quiet, endured, and kept my dignity intact, even as her behavior worsened. Her son, my stepson, began making reckless choices: drugs, petty theft, minor scams, and eventually serious criminal activity. I tried to guide him, to intervene, to help, but she always excused him, protected him, coddled him, and blamed others. I had seen the signs long before they escalated. I had warned her, pleaded with her, begged her to set boundaries and hold him accountable. She laughed. She told me I was being dramatic, that I was overreacting, that he was just a kid. But I knew better. And then it happened. One night, police lights, sirens, and the realization that her protection had limits she could no longer control. Her son was arrested for a string of serious offenses: robbery, assault, and fraud. I wasn't surprised. I had seen this coming for years. But she was devastated, pleading with everyone, begging for leniency, throwing herself at lawyers, calling family, calling me. I watched from a distance, calm, composed, and silently satisfied that life had finally delivered the consequences she had ignored for years. She was begging now, not for me, but for the boy she had shielded from reality, for the family she had manipulated, for the life she had assumed would never challenge her. She reached out to me directly one evening, voice trembling over the phone. "Please, I need your help. I never meant—" I interrupted her, quietly, coldly. "I told you. I warned you. All those years you called me second place. All those years you refused to set boundaries, and now you're shocked?" She was silent. Her voice cracked. I don't know what to do." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "You made choices. Your son made choices. I offered guidance. I offered support. You chose to ignore it. I'm done being second place in your world. You wanted drama, manipulation, and excuses. Now you have consequences. Let that be your lesson." She tried to plead, to argue, to sway me with guilt, but I didn't respond. I had learned long ago that actions speak louder than words, and life has a way of teaching lessons when people refuse to listen. The next few months were surreal. Her son faced court, sentencing, and the reality of imprisonment. Friends whispered, family judged, and she scrambled to regain control over a life she had neglected. Meanwhile, I focused on myself, my career, and my own family, people who respected me, valued me, and never treated me as a second choice. Looking back, the dinner where she publicly humiliated me was a turning point. It was the moment I realized that some betrayals are not just emotional. They are public, deliberate, and meant to diminish your presence in the lives you care about. And the best response isn't confrontation or revenge. It's detachment, calmness, and letting reality serve the lesson. She begged, pleaded, and scrambled after her son, but she never apologized to me. I never needed her to. Her consequences, her regrets, and her desperation were more than enough. I had survived betrayal, maintained my dignity, and watched the universe handle the justice she refused to uphold herself. Sometimes, life's karma doesn't need your hands. It only needs your patience. You endure, you grow, and eventually, people face the results of their choices. I was never second place. I was simply someone she underestimated, someone who walked away before her chaos became mine, and someone who survived long enough to watch her reckoning unfold. Her son remains in jail, her reputation tarnished, and she is left begging for the kind of support she ignored giving when it mattered. As for me, I live quietly, freely, and without the burden of betrayal defining my worth. And every time I remember that dinner, that laugh, that cruel phrase, I smile, not in anger, not in malice, but in the quiet satisfaction of survival, dignity, and the knowledge that betrayal has a way of exposing true character.